Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Orms TV. Today we've got Roger here from Canon.
Hiya.
He's brought along, yeah, that's it.
The brand new C200.
Such a beauty.
Indeed,
Such a beauty.
indeed.
Roger, you want to run us through the quick specs on this unit?
Absolutely. Well, this is our brand new unit. It was announced a couple of weeks back at the end of May. It's going to come into the market sometime in July. And being C200, set exactly halfway between the C100 and the C300. Where the C300 is very much the cinematic camera with the 4K and the RAW and all the high bit rates, etc. This has got 4K, but a step down.
Okay.
In terms of full high def, it's got everything that the C100 Mark II has got, plus a few advancements. So as you can imagine, it sort of fits directly in the range. And it's for the kind of person who wants more than a C100 in terms of maybe quality. They might need 4K every now and then, but not all the time. But they don't need the massive C300 Mark II or even C700 level of 4K, which is your big cinematic, big movie making kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's a smaller design, a more compact kind of construction, but essentially meant to fit a gap where we've had people who want more than one and less than the other.
Okay, so in terms of sensor technology,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, where does this fit in between, C700, 300, 100, where are we sitting?
Well, essentially, it's still a Super 35mm sensor. It is a brand new sensor built and designed for this, and we do this on every single camera. We build a sensor for it. It's not a global shutter like on the C700 GS model, but the sensor readout is much quicker than its predecessors.
Okay.
The low light performance, the dynamic range have been improved.
How many times?
They're publishing facts of between 13 and 15.
Okay.
It depends what the market actually says, because we say 15 and then somebody goes out and says, oh no, it's actually closer to 12. It's always going to be one of those things that's argued. It's more than 10, which is huge. And you got your Cine Log 1, 2, and 3, as you have on all the serious models. And essentially, it's less about the nitty-gritty, fine, detailed specifications. It's more about what this camera can do at the price that it comes in at.
Okay, and then the other big thing on this unit, of course, we have to look at the ergonomics.
Right, yeah.
From the screen, obviously, that is a big improvement.
Indeed.
For Canon. What did you guys do there?
Well, as you can see, there's quite a familiarity in terms of the design, that we have a handle on the top and we have a bracket on the top, on the front over here. This is completely modular. The way this can swing, it can turn, it can move into various different ramifications, etc., is absolutely huge. And it means you can mount this in a variety of different places. You don't even have to have the carry handle on. You can take it down to a much smaller type of environment. We've taken the audio off the big handle here, which has always been there on the C100 type cameras, and we've put the audio in the camera. Again, your balance line inputs, your audio controls are here.
That's huge.
Indeed, and also the microphone adapter, this new anti-shake type of microphone thing, can also mount directly on the camera. So you can take it to a much smaller construction. The camera is fully functional without this handle, without that viewfinder, without that grip. And you then look at the size of that, the form factor is much smaller, so you could possibly hang it onto, I don't know, a drone.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Wi-Fi as well, so you can sit with a tablet, you've got Wi-Fi control of pretty much everything. And as we sort of looked at what people wanted, there's a lot of people who want the big rig like this. There are people who want viewfinder on this side, there are people who want black and white viewfinder. The camera is very, very modular, and a lot of the accessories that work on the C700, like the black and white, the high resolution monochrome viewfinder, can fit and work and be plugged into this. But I love the fact that there's screws, there's hot shoes, pretty much all over the handle. There's a variety of different places. There's a rod clamp you can clamp on here like the C300. So as you said, modular, lots of things you can do.
Looks a lot easier to manipulate the handle itself than it is on the C300 Mark II.
Indeed.
You can take it off without Allen keys?
Indeed, yes, yeah, absolutely. That's it's a thumb screw type of environment, yeah. It does make a big difference. There are still things that need an Allen key to be mounted on. It's the same Allen key as a C300, but for the most part, it is something that you can just take apart, put back together. Yeah.
Okay, and obviously now on your screen as well, full touch screen?
Yes, and much higher resolution than predecessor.
Okay.
Yeah, but also not just dual pixel autofocus, which we're quite famous for in pretty much everything since the 70D. The next evolution of dual pixel autofocus, which allows you various settings. So you can switch it from responsive to a little bit more sluggish. So for example, if I'm panning with a motor car on a racetrack, if I have it on responsive, if there's a pole or a sign between me and the car, it will jump to that.
Okay.
If I tell it to go sticky rather than responsive, stay on the car, stay with the car. So I can choose how dual pixel autofocus works. And then also the response speed. So is it a fast switch from one to the other, or is it smooth?
Okay.
And there's also the sort of ramping kind of idea. How quickly does it go? Does it get started? Does it get to maximum speed? So we know that people love the dual pixel autofocus, and they know how good and how accurate it is. And the touch, just touching the point over here, and then sliding your finger across to go from one point to the other. That's very cool. And that's a huge thing that people really like, but they wanted a little bit more nitty-gritty kind of control.
Okay.
And you'll see when you go into the menu on this, compared to like a C100 menu, which had like sort of 6 tabs, this has now got like 14 tabs. We've added every single possible little tiny little bit of control that people wanted. We've added not just 1 step, 2 steps, like 5, 6, 7 steps. It is stunning. The way it moves, and it allows people to go from, oh, I've used the C100 and I know how it basically works. I'm thinking of going into the movie industry. This is a very, very nice step into that, because you can learn a hell of a lot of what you need on the bigger cinematic cameras.
I assume if you've already got something like a C700 setup or something like that, this as a B or a C camera.
Indeed.
Excellent.
Indeed, yeah. The only clincher obviously is in terms of the codec and the quality of the footage you're going to get out here. This has got 4K RAW, but it's a new RAW light. It's a new compression on that CFast card. So you can get compressed 4K, not initially, not on this version as yet, but we are going to have an AVC HD sometime in the future, so you can get that. But the 4K is a raw footage, but it's not to the same degree as a C700. Having said that, you know, the sensors look the same, the colors, everything else. You can match the two up, and that's a big thing as a B or even a C camera to a C700 and a C300. Getting them all to look identical is so easy. It is so easy.
And what's the feedback thus far on software acceptance of the raw light?
Well, at this stage, DaVinci Resolve is the only software that's saying yes on the Cinema Raw, but that's now. On the raw light, sorry, the raw light. But that's only because we announced the camera 3 weeks ago. We are working with the other big players, EOS, Avid, Adobe, and Apple, obviously, to get them up to speed. Okay. But it is most certainly going to be in transit, and there's a distinct possibility that Cinema Raw Light is going to be something that a lot of people are going to like moving forward. Yeah.
And then obviously output via HDMI and SDI.
Yes.
Complete RAW or still just RAW light?
Light.
Still light.
Light.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that we need to know?
Well, nothing much. The standard ports, as you would expect on the camera, are here, but with the addition of the balance line inputs. So you have the network port as well if you want to put it onto a LAN for control. Your standard sort of HDMI, HD, SDI, all those things are here, including the more professional DC input, so you can run off the more improved type of things. The big things that I really like about it, Wi-Fi control, which is astonishing, and especially when you're talking about drones, etc. The quality of that is really good. The low light performance, the dynamic range is definitely taking a key from what we've been doing in SLR and applying it to that. But then also when you start looking at things like our compact Cine Zoom lens, not only being able to have a zoom on the lens itself, but having a power zoom on the grip over here, that's astonishing. Now bear in mind that's also applicable if you put this Cine Zoom onto, say, a 5D4.
Okay.
You can actually use the zoom in and zoom out button on the back of a 5D4 with the Canon Cine Zoom lenses, sorry, only those. Okay. But it's really cool as far as that's concerned. And again, without getting into all the technical nitty-gritty, it answers all the questions that people actually really wanted. Has it got this? Yes, somewhere around there. Can it do this? Probably. Okay. Is it as good as a C300 Mark II? No. Yeah. Is it better than a C100 Mark II? Yes. And it's exactly what we did. We padded up the range. Yeah.
Okay. Bitrate recording on this internally. What are we looking at?
Can't remember.
Okay.
Can we cut that bit out? It's pretty damn high. Yeah. No, the specs are available online, but they're not final. And unfortunately, at this stage, we are still working on final settings. Okay. It is a really good bitrate. I'll give you that, but it's not in the C300 sort of arena. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, and then like internal recording for the 4K, you've got your standard 10-bit and 12-bit. And,
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, but that's on the CFast card, and then whether you're going to get the full 422 in 10 bits is questionable. At this stage, it looks like 422 is going to be 8-bit. 420 at 10 bit is more than likely what's going to happen. But again, that hasn't been finalized. At this stage, we've got the Cinema Raw, the Raw Light codec right now. We haven't finalized all the final codecs. There are still firmware updates that are coming along. So you please don't hold me to all of the technical specs, but what we are publishing at the moment is what we've set so far.
Okay.
More to come.
Okay. And then the question that everybody's been asking, why only one CFast slot?
Well,
Is there a reason?
Well, not necessarily. The tricky thing is, CFast runs quite hot. Make no mistake. You see, it's right next to the vents over here. So to dissipate the heat is quite a big thing. You've also got to bear in mind that the vast majority of people are going to be using this as a high-def camera, using the two standard SD cards, and you've got your card A, card B with a relay recording or the backup recording there. You can do proxy recording, so record 4K on the CFast and a full high-def on one of the SD cards. Okay. So you have got the dual type recording there simultaneously.
Can you
if you want
2K to the SD cards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. So you have that possibility to have 4K and 2K simultaneously. Okay. There are obviously going to be some restrictions, and read the fine print because I don't have all the spec. But again, physical size, putting 2 slots in is quite hectic, and we have C300 Mark II that has got that, where it does need that, where you're recording 4K at a megabit rate at a high resolution, and 64 gig card fills up really quickly. Yeah. The idea behind this, with having that raw light 4K footage, it means you're actually going to use a lower bit rate, a lower compression, a smaller file size. In which case, one CFast is pretty damn adequate. And as I say, having the backup of full high def and 2K on the cards on the SD cards is nothing to be sneezed at either.
Okay.
No.
Okay, Roger. So we've gone through all the specs on the unit now. Yeah. Well, at least mostly.
Yeah.
When is this unit available?
Coming up end of July. That's the sort of international sales start date that they're going to start hitting the market. Okay. But again, don't sort of rely on all the spec that's available at the moment, because it is mutable, it is changeable. There are some things we're modifying and adding before the cameras actually hit the market. Okay. At this stage, there is only one in Africa, which is this baby over here. Yeah. We're going to let people come and have a look at it when we're at MediaTek, which is the big broadcast show at the Dome in July. If you have the chance, if you're in the industry, if you're interested in anything from music videos to corporate videos to broadcast to full-length movie making, MediaTek's the show you need to go to at the Dome in Joburg. Okay. We're going to be showing this for the first time there. It's the first time you'll be able to get hands-on and touch and try and see what it looks like.
Actually record with it?
Well, no, not yet. Well, it depends. If there's a firmware available, we can do that. Okay. But at the same time, we're also showing C700 for the first time in South Africa, which is huge. We're also going to be showing the ME20, the 4 million ISO camera for the first time in Africa, and there's a good chance we'll have the ME200 as well. So we're very, very, very excited about MediaTek, and we're going there as a big brand with a big stand. And we want you to come and see us if you can, and come and have a look at the C200 if you're interested.
Excellent, excellent.
Cool.
Well, Roger, thank you very much for bringing this little toy along for us.
Excellent,
and sharing all the knowledge on that.
Yeah, well, I wish I had more knowledge. You stopped me with a couple of questions, but as I say, the specs are available online, but they are changing. It's not 100% final. But please forgive me for not knowing exactly 7 or 4 or 3. But cool.
That's
thank
excellent.
you.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us for this video. As always, if you enjoyed that, please don't forget to drop us a like, comment, and share this video. Thank you very much.